What up, though? Y'all know how I go. Smash like, subscribe, comment, share. I don't care what you share it on. I don't care what you comment. As long as you comment, as long as you invoke a thought and conversation, it is what it is. Thank you all for all the advice. I really, really appreciate it. Man, multiple people don't hit me up saying I listen to you riding to work. And so do longer videos so I won't have to keep stumbling through my phone. I thought I was just talking too much. A lot of people saying do longer videos. So I'm going to go more in detail each video from now on. I got you. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. I do it for y'all, and I definitely do it for me. And when I do it, I want to do it good. Hopefully the volume up on this, and I'm talking a little bit louder. Maybe I need to get some better AirPods. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up today and see what I can change and do better videos or whatnot. I'm just getting into it. But thank y'all. Y'all don't grew the channels from 3,000 to almost 8,000 in a matter of days. For real, like I wasn't even dropping like that. And y'all still supported me, still encouraged me to keep doing it. So thank you. I appreciate that. Shout out Tristan Marshall, man. That's the #1 commenter. That guy, his notification bell active. I appreciate you, man. So shout out James McDonald too. JP, he requested a video on extortion. I got you. Antonio Richardson, thank you for your suggestions too, man. I really appreciate the positive feedback. Rebar 08, Tristan Marshall, Elmo John. Oh, excuse me, I already said Tristan Marshall. Elmo Johnson, Florida Prison Talk. You know, they got their own thing going on. They're a bigger channel and everything, but they still check me out, drop comments on me, tell me to keep grinding. I appreciate that. And I'm gonna definitely keep doing it. I'm gonna do some different stuff too. So hopefully y'all are interested in that too. You know what I'm saying? Shout the page Before Your Immigrants. Thank you for your suggestions. D'Angelo Ross, Ryan Rowe, Big Boss Residue. that's a crazy name, but hey, Big Boss, shout out you, man. Thank you for your positive feedback. CZ, definitely like your music. He has a growing artist right there. As soon as he get his whole delivery and style down pack, ain't no doubt in my mind, bro, got the potential to blow, but it's all about the hard work that you put in behind it when you're dealing with the music. You dig what I'm talking? DJ Man the Screw, Not Just a Pretty Face, Jason Robinson, Larry Coleman. I'm gonna take your suggestion to make a video on Fear. Gareth Davis, Beyond Wise Words, Detroit Sunshine Council, So Fadi Went, Know It All NYC. I appreciate all y'all, so I shout y'all out. Gotta let y'all know how much I appreciate y'all, man. So today's video is on the different Muslim sects in prison. The Midwest in Michigan is one of the few places where religion's still running. You go to California, you go out west, the gangs got all the chapters. The gangs control, who go to the religious services sometimes, because it's crazy. You got Crips, there's Black Panthers and Nation of Islam and things like that. So it's a little bit different out there. I'm not gonna speak too much on them guys because I ain't never did no time in California, but I can speak on time here in Michigan. So you got the Moorish Americans. That's a Muslim group. We call ourselves Muslims. And y'all know I keep it real. I'm not gonna be biased just because I'm a Moorish American. We the Bays and Eels, the Moabites. The Moorish Science Temple of America, that's us. We put Bays and Eels on our name. Bay meaning governor, Eel meaning creator, short for Elohim, which is Hebrew for God. It's a notion that eels are just wilder than bays because they more forthcoming, they more active, they more articulate usually, but we are the same at the end of the day. But the bays are more reserved, the eels are more wild, the eels are more fierce, the bays more law abiders and readers and things like that. So that's where bays and eels come from, and that's how we interpret it in a joint. Whites can't join because they already got nationality, so it's only people with pigmentation that can join. It's an older group of people. Everybody, if it's 100 Moors on the yard, I would say at least 50 of them are 50 years old and up. I would say at least 50. And another 30 in their 40s. And then another 10 or 20 in their, 30s. And then you got a few young guys sprinkled in there. It's an older group. It's an older group of people. Shout Razor Bay for bringing it to Michigan and implementing it and getting it going and help getting a charter for the Michigan Department of Corrections. Razor Bay. And I'm going to see if I can tell the story on Razor Bay and Rimmer Bay and what happened between them. But I'm currently looking for Razor Bay, so wish me luck on that. The Moors, very, very organized group. The Moors, we get into it with each other sometimes. Not like the gangs do, especially the Bloods, because they always get into it with each other. But we get into it with each other sometimes, but it don't be a 3-on-3, a 4-on-4, or 5-on-5. It's just two individuals that don't get along and not seeing eye to eye. So they might stab one another or do something to each other. But as far as these Moors versus these Moors, it don't go down like that. Even though it's different branches of the Moor Science Temple of America, 1934's Colonel C. Kirkman Bays, they're the deepest, they're the predominant. But you got other Moors, the Resurrection Moors, the 28 Moors, but they got to all fall under us. They all go to our services if they do come, or they have their own on the yard. But we got ours inside the temple or inside, the classroom where they hold it at. We don't really go at each other like that at all. It get real treacherous around voting time when it's time to elect the Grand Sheik. That's the head official. That's the head mufti. That's the guy who called all the shots. That's our spiritual leader, our father figure, our big brother, whatever you want to look at it like. But that's the person that leads us and guide us. And then it's the assistant Grand Sheik, which is assistant to him. It's the chairman, which is under the assistant Grand Sheik, and then it's the assistant chairman. And then it's the secretaries and assistant secretaries, and then it's the head mufti, which is the head of security, the head lawbringer. Like I said, it's very, very, very organized. I'm talking about when we go out on the yard, it's a mufti that's gonna shoot past everybody, go to the yard, and as y'all come in, he gonna count each Moorish American that's active. You got Moors that's not active, and that's what y'all be getting us confused with the homosexual stuff. Those guys are not active, but when it's on the floor, when it's a war, when it's time to fight or stab, those guys come out of retirement and do their thing, right? So that's why people are like, oh man, they got a lot of, no, it's not a lot of us. Not a lot, it's just more of us than anybody. But anyway, the Moors have that dirty rumor on them, but very, very, very respected. Like I said, we one of the organizations, and usually the religions just do it. We shoot the yard first. We count every brother. If it's a official, like a Grand Sheik or a chairman on the yard, we assign security to walk around with them the whole time that they're on the yard. Usually, our Grand Sheiks are so peaceful and not into it with anybody that they don't need security, but it's certain brothers that come out, and they only come out sometimes because they usually stand in unit, like the brother Gray Bay, who was chairman a lot when I was in prison. When he come out on the yard, we put a security detail on him, 1 or 2 people, just to walk around. It's just a respect thing when it come to him, because he put in a lot of work and he really care about the movement. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, like I said, over and over, we're very, 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 very organized. We got different spots on the yard where we can go dig up weapons, do different things. And I'm not telling nothing that don't nobody know. I'm not telling nothing that the COs don't know, because it's informers inside the Moor Science Temple of America. So, don't nobody make it seem like I'm putting the brothers on blast about what's going on, but we got to protect ourselves at all costs. We follow Prophet Noble Timothy Jewelry, peace and blessings be upon him. Now, you got the Nation of Islam and the Melanics, and the Sunnis. We all show respect to each other, but it's some underlying tension from back in the day when Melanics and Moors were stabbing each other and going at it, and the Nation of Islam was going at it. Like it's a lot of sneak dissing, on personal time when you talking with your Nation of Islam buddy, your Melanic buddy. He might throw a little shot at you, and you might throw one at him, and it's just passed down. I don't hate none of them brothers, because I wasn't down when it was warm, but it was It was on and popping, especially back in Jackson, 6 block, I think 8 block, 7 block, all that stuff. People was getting killed. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you got the Nation of Islam, just the guys that wear the bow ties. They're not traditional second Islam, but they do, derive their knowledge from a lot of it from the Quran and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. Very, very militant. Notice how I said we were organized? They're very militant. Like, it's a different level of organization. Like, they don't have a lot of numbers like the Moors. It's a lot of Moors. I'm talking about the biggest religion, period, in prison. The Nation of Islam, it could be 7 of them on the yard, 10 of them on the yard, but one go, they all go. Or it's going to be severe consequences, to whoever choose to violate them guys going to go. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They get into it with anybody, it don't matter. They not backing down because their numbers small. They walk around with their clothes real neat. They the few prisoners that still armed and crease their clothes, tuck their shirt in, facial hair bald, usually bald, but some brothers might grow a small mustache or a little mustache goatee like me. I never ever really seen it connected, or just the top part, or just light hair on the face. Hair always cut, always neat, newest clothes. They take a lot of pride in how they look. Those guys is racist. I know it. Moors is racist too. Don't get me wrong. They racist, but the Nation of Islam, they really just don't hold no punches. They do not like Caucasian people. They associate with it. Some associate with them, do business with them, but they services, when they preaching, when they propagating the faith, they always gonna belittle the white man. And of course, we know why. I understand. I ain't saying this right or not, but that's how they are. Like I said, my interactions with them, I usually kick it with the younger guys or the older guys. They want to spread knowledge, period. So when you ask them a question, they're going to go deep, in depth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, he taught us. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he taught us. That's who lead the Nation of Islam now, if you don't know, is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Don't know who his successor is going to be, but he been doing it a long time. He still look good, young, healthy, eat 1 time a day, diet crazy. He got some pretty good books too that you can get a lot of knowledge from. But that's the group if you want to be militant. And when they step on the yard, you know who they are. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but how they look. So now you got the Sunnis. Shiites, very small, and they got to go to Sunni services. There's no Shiite Sunni service. It's just Sunni Muslim services. But they very peaceful and humble, not very respected in the penitentiary. Not disrespected, but people don't fear crossing them or betraying them or doing something that might offend them. They don't fear. They got a reputation of kind of being a little soft. I heard brothers myself out my own ears, like I said one day to a guy Buck, I say a vice lord just stabbed a Sunni. He like, oh damn. No, excuse me. I said, oh, a vice lord just stabbed somebody. He like, oh damn, who is it, man? Oh, we might have to go to war. I said, Sunni. He was like, oh, they'll come out and talk about it. Everybody else like, yeah, man, most likely. You're not stabbing a Moor or a Nation of Islam and stepping on no yard again. Because it's going to be somebody to ride in and tell somebody that, hey, he stabbed a Moor or a Nation of Islam guy or Melanic at the last joint. And nothing not happened to you. Maybe the Melanic's been dismantled a lot. I'll get into that. You might be able to slide with those guys. Maybe. Depending on where you at. But more as a nation, you're not touching them and nothing don't happen to you unless you deserved it or they fed you to the wolves and said, get them. Because they'll do that. They'll say, oh, he's a suspected homosexual anyway, get him. Some yards. But more than not, the Moors don't care who you are or what you did. Don't touch them. We'll punish our own. Same thing with the Nation of Islam. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the Sunnis, those the guys that wear the pants rolled up real high. They'll have their top mustache cut and all this beard. or they had just big beards, sleeves rolled up. Very spiritual people, very peaceful and humble. Of course, you know, they follow Prophet Muhammad through the guise of God Allah, peace and blessing be upon Prophet Muhammad. You know, they follow him. The Sunnis usually have like an alliance with the GDs in some places, because I guess Chief Larry Bernard Hoover is a active Sunni. So he a role model for gangster disciples, or if you want to call it growth and development, 360, 720, whatever you fall under. You know, they follow him as a father figure. So if he's a Sunni, of course they're going to try to follow in his footsteps. They'll have a lot of yards where the GDs are either linked up with the Sunnis, and even more, and more than not, they hooked up with the Melanics. But yeah, the Sunnis, the 5-pointed star crescent, they're very peaceful. Interactions with them was always good. It's always informative, especially if they really love their religion. They're another group to take anybody. Some yards, though, they might not take sex offenders. Some yards, they might not take, you know, somebody that was a homosexual. Now, people, you know, gonna comment, oh, ain't no such thing as was a homosexual. I don't know. I'm not getting into all that. I don't care. Right? But that's just how the rules go. Prison, different world. It's gay Muslims, okay? You face it. That's how it is. So you got the Melanics. Now, the Melanics are called Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun. But what's crazy is they get a lot of information and literature from the Quran, right? But they have other influences. Some be from the Christian Bible, some be from a Catholic Bible, some be from the church, whatever, right? They got a whole bunch of ideologies mixed together in one. Their prophet is Nat Turner, you know, the guy who led the rebellion. I think it was in Virginia. Their prophet is Nat Turner. They had a service, a religious service, but I believe it was 1999 in Chippewa. They organized an assault on police officers, allegedly organized it. Was it spur of the moment? I don't know. So they lost their charter to propagate their faith. So the police, MDOC said, you got 7 days to throw away all literature. Anything else coming in is going to get thrown away. And at one point, I think they got to the point where okay, you can get the literature, but we're going to screen it so we can make sure it doesn't have any threats or violence on it. So if you get caught being a Melanic these days and practicing it, you're going to get STG 1 or 2, Security Threat Group. So you got to holler guys. If you really want to know where the Melanics came from, which I don't know. I know it started in prison, but who exactly started it? You got to go holler at guys like Gerald Ford, guy who spent years in solitary confinement, a guy that they harassed and beat on because the assaults and stabbings of those police officers in '99 and the other little incidents the Melanics put down. The Melanics militant group, fierce, crazy. They don't have a lot of numbers, but they move so hard. I'm talking about they moved. At one point in time, they was moving hard. They kind of dismantled now, but I hear the stories about it. I read the cases. Them and Moors and Nation was killing guys behind the wall, but especially Melanics and Moors behind the wall. Jackson, old days, 80s, early 90s. Them guys was putting in some crazy work. Crazy work. Late 80s, early 90s, they was putting in crazy work. Early 2000s, crazy work. They're very, very, very respected. Also, if you want to know more about it, look up Fingal Eugene Johnson, 178669 is his prison number. 71 years old to this day, been locked up since like 85, 86 out of Genesee County for first-degree murder. And in the state of Michigan, when they tell you first-degree murder, that's what they mean. And when they say natural life without parole, that's what they mean in the state of Michigan. Commutations come far, few in between. You dig what I'm talking about? But them Melanics, prophet is Nat Turner. So that should tell you a whole lot right there. Am I right or wrong? If your prophet is Nat Turner, if my prophet was Adolf Hitler, what would you say? That tell you their ideology and, you know, they uplift the black man, just as the Nation of Islam do, just as the More Science Temple of America do. They uplift, they teach. The Melanics are so strict and was running so smooth back in the day. If they told you and you was a member not to do something and you constantly violate, they'll send them guys to hit you. Look at the stories of Melanics killing Mr. Billups, one of their own. There's some treacherous stuff happening in prison, but you went and got one of your own because he robbed somebody else and y'all told him, don't do that. The Melanics move. When I speak on Muslim organizations, I speak on it from just not my perspective, but what's facts. This is true. You can look it up. You can write who you want. Do your research. Reach out to some of these guys. You might change some of their lives by just contacting them. Some of these guys ain't had mail from the outside world in 20, 30 years. I've talked to guys in the nation, the Moors, the Sunnis, the Melanics, that been down so long. I ask them where they from. They tell me prison. Damn, Mar, I've been down since I was 18. I'm 73 now. I'm from prison. I don't know nobody out there. It's just the truth. So if you decide to write one of them, pay them, you could change their day. You could change their life, or you could change their year, their month. Some of them buried in a hole and they never coming out. Some of them buried in level 5. It's gonna be years before they get down to a level 2, or close enough for them to get a visit. Some of them done lost all their family in the world because they've been down so long. So reach out to them. Google, see if my facts straight. All right, but those are and let me touch on this real quick. The Melanics are not strictly a Muslim organization. There are Christians inside of it, but it's called the Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun. Definitely got Quranic beliefs. Definitely derive stuff from the Quran, but it's other philosophies from Malcolm X, from the Christian Bible, all put into one. Okay? So, majority of Muslim, I believe so. But you got everything in there. Everything. Nation of Islam, let me touch back on this because I know y'all going to ask. Do they allow homosexuality? Not at all. You're going to get your head blew off. Are they accepting and forgiving of it? No. Put that X up, you ain't repping us. Melanics, they're not as organized as they once was, so certain people who still hitters, they're allowed to do what they do. And they still mob with the homies. It's prison. I'm sorry. This is the environment. I ain't telling no lies. Moors are the most forgiving of it, of any Islamic group. Sunnis, right in the middle of it, depending on who you are. But the Nation of Islam, they don't really do the sex offenders and stuff like that. They just the most militant, the most strict, and the most disciplined. No ifs, ands, buts about it. I think the Moors are more organized for the type of numbers. No, you know what? I get that to the Nation of Islam. Because you don't see them fighting and stabbing each other ever. You don't see it. You see what other groups getting into it and things like that. Sunnis don't really do it. Melanics, up in the air. Moors, we beef amongst each other. The little one-on-one beefs, the little, here and there. The little false propagation of accusations, just so this person won't get a leadership spot. That goes on a lot. So I'm gonna give it to the Nation of Islam as far as brotherhood, sticking together, and militants, and being militant. More just more savage and more organized as far as the security aspect of things. Far as running the temple, having money and building money, making money, generating money, The Moors got that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But it's more of us. You do what I'm talking about. So, as far as respect on the yard, Nation of Islam, definitely. Melanics, definitely. Moors got it. Moors got more fear than respect. Nation of Islam got more respect than fear. Or it's about right here. Melanics got the fear and respect when they organized on the yard. And especially when they linked up with the GD brothers. Them boys move. They moving. They both under a 6-pointed star, so them guys come together and they rock out. So I'm at 25 minutes right here. I'm gonna clock on out and I'm gonna do the next video y'all requested. That's on extortion. Thank you. So I see you again, man. I appreciate all y'all again, man. I appreciate everybody who dropped them comments. Help make me better. You did. Peace and blessings to y'all, man.